we all have something in common. That is, that we want to be free. How to go about this freedom, how to go about achieving this freedom is what I'll be speaking about, as well as other subjects. But I will now come on to the subject of the vaccines. I will describe to you the bureaucracy and the mechanisms in order to make anything safe and to make it unified. Any pharmaceutical company or any physician that wanting to administer any sort of medication that is essentially a calibrated poison has to, in front of you, by your request, just as they do with you, must sign a physician's vaccine warranty or any other warranty for any other type of, so be it, medication. So if it's medication, they have to sign a warranty. Okay, this is a physician's warranty. This is the document that you're looking at on my website, giving you as much closure as possible. Any physician failing to do this is essentially telling you that the medication, that the vaccine is not safe to be administered into your body. So I want to make it very clear. I'll now paraphrase it once more. It does not matter what vaccine it is, and it does not matter what medication it is. You have the right to ask the physician, not the doctor. There is a difference between a doctor and a physician. A physician is 100% liable. A doctor essentially answers to the pharmaceutical company, both operating also in maritime. But the physician has far more safeguards in place. That is why it is called a physician's warranty for anything that they administer. The anything that I'm referring to are those things which are calibrated poisons. This is why they are being tested on other mammalians because of the toxicity level, which is also recorded on the global scale, because this is global, on the vaccine damage program, or the amount of damage that pharmaceutical industries do, called death by medication. So, just like in prison, just like anywhere else on this planet, anybody wishing to administer any toxins have to sign it off. This is what they are getting you to do, but without countersigning it. So if they have not countersigned it and only you have signed it, you are authorizing it. But the administrator, as well as yourself, need to countersign it. If it is not, then the physician or the doctor, the nurse, as saying to you, we cannot promise, we cannot guarantee that after the administration of this vaccine, you'll come out of it safe. This is the bureaucracy of contract law, which I know very well. That is the subject of vaccines, and I have given you what you Americans call full discovery on this. However, I must emphasize this is global. Okay, it is global. I'm now putting this document to a side. I will now revisit the subject of voter frauds. The voter frauds, as I said to you, also takes place when you open up a bank account or a mortgage and a whole heap of other lists which I've already broadcast, as well as those types of fraud that goes on language, as well as part of the bureaucracy, what you call due process, what is known as due process. One of these other mechanisms where the votes are cast on your behalf, whether you have voted or not, because you signed the all powers of attorney, which gives them blanket permission to sign any documents on your behalf, which I removed globally. I am now describing to you one of the other mechanisms. Because a vote is a corporate instrument, vote is corporate. Elections or electing people, that's constitutional. That is constitutional. That's why the US people, that is why the people in this country, in any country in the world, do not have elections, or that you have the ability to cast an electoral position, that you can't cast your electricity. It's because it is a corporate instrument called a vote. And under the rules of Robert's Rules of a Corporation, of Robert's Rules of Order, of Parliamentary Order, of Senate, governors, corporations, all corporations, whether it's a Senate or whether it's a state of the California or state of whatever it is a corporate instrument. That's what a state is, as opposed to territory. And you are given votes. If you do not vote, the state will vote on your behalf, because under Robert's Rules of a Corporation, under Robert's Rules of Procedure of Order, your silence in this matter allows them to cast your vote. And for anybody that has got your signature or any signature or autograph or anything of that nature where you signed away your powers of attorney, as it were, have essentially given them permission to vote on your behalf, not only as the powers of attorney through a bank and so on and so forth, but also because of the Robert's Rules of a Corporation. So when you hear, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that all of a sudden 130,000 votes was issued in Michigan, all in one go, they are openly telling you there is something wrong, so wake up. How can this possibly happen, even in the calculation of odds? The answer is it cannot. So if something is so impossible, how can it be possible? Very simple. Robert's Rules of Order. The all powers of attorney, which is all null and void now. Because the state, which is a corporation, as opposed to a territory, did not tell you what that the difference between a vote and an election is, and anybody withholding information to fraudulently make contract with you makes the contract null and void. Anybody that is authoring these types of documents, also they are 100% liable. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the FEMA camps are beginning to open. That is why they cannot escape, because that which fraudulently contracts with human beings are called lies. They are non-factual. That is one of the mechanisms, ladies and gentlemen, that I have described to you. If I was to describe all the other mechanisms of why the American people, as well as the Venezuelans with those Dominion machines, are constantly being robbed, it's because it was staring you in the face all the time. They are casting the votes on your behalf. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? It's null and void. I will give you, in the middle of this presentation, the solution as well, just as I have done with the vaccines. Now, I'm a Chief Federal Postal Court judge as well as a plenipotentiary judge, which means that I control the contracts and the language that it's written in. Anybody just on the volition of that wanting to make fraudulent contract with you, fraudulently getting you to sign up to something that you was ignorant of. Ignorance, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is no excuse, but you was not told, and that's nascience. Because you was not told and somebody withheld that information, as well as those things that are crucial to you are disabling you. And anybody that disables you have broken universal law. I am now going to put aside of one of the mechanisms of how the voter fraud is taking place. And it's global, ladies and gentlemen. And I brought that to a stop. I will now go on to the subject of how you can protect yourself and what the mechanisms are. It is my social duty, it is my social contract as a plenipotentiary judge to educate the entire world as one citizens. At the moment, as you know, because of the various levels of corruption which I have revealed so much already, as well as my previous presentations, make it very clear that you are not even considered a citizen. So I will teach you right now how to put those mechanisms in place to make you a citizen. So bear with me. And because I'm going to educate you, I have to walk every single one of you into the misprision rule of treason, into the misprision rule of a felony, which means you are now in knowledge. You have knowledge of how a crime has been committed by the states, by the judges, the clerks, the courts that wear the all blacks. All black, when they wear all black, they are signifying, they are showing honor to the dead. And the reason why they're doing that is because they have made you on paper dead. That is why you never win a court case, except when you go through my court system. That is why you don't have the ability to dictate your terms and conditions to your governments. The list, of course, I can go on and on as to the things that you cannot do. So I am going to start giving you these reasons. And because I've educated you, you have no choice but to show zero tolerance towards those people that have perpetrated this crime against humanity. Zero tolerance, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you witness some bad things that are happening, it is your duty as a social contract, as a citizen, to bring it a stop. And that is what I'll be teaching you to do right now. When you go to my website, and all of you have done so, you will see such a document. Okay? That document is the template of what you're going to do. The second document tells you in detail as to what to do. Now, on this document, with all the instructions in place, what is happening is that this document has a flag. All documents must carry a flag. Without it, it's considered a flagless vessel. It also must describe what it is that it's displaying. And these two flags that you see behind me and the seal that you see in front of you tells you that it is a communications flag. It is not the flag of the United States. It was salvaged under David Wayne Miller. It is a communications flag. And all communications and all grammar control all contracts, just as your passport has got grammar in it. It's got some sort of corruptive language in it. It is language that allows you to go through one port to another. It is language that enables you to open up a court and close the court. It is your ability to put that language accurately onto a document where nobody else can trespass. No judge, no prime minister, no president, no MP, no senator, who are essentially, most of them are lawyers, if not solicitors. And what does solicitor mean? It means a licensed prostitute. So on here, I have given you the mechanisms of what to do. What you need to do with this letter is what I'm going to describe to you. You're going to put it into an envelope. Once you've filled it out, just as I've said so, you put it into an envelope and you can send it. And I'm going to give you options. You can send it by registered post, not certified mail or anything else, by registered post to your local sheriff's office. To your local sheriff's office. Okay? By name. He or she will be on the internet. Before you do that, I beg your pardon, you must take a copy of this for yourself. If you do not wish to send it by registered post, and you just wish to send it by, say, hand delivery, by all means do so. Take it into the sheriff's office, and this is global. It can be a police station or any one of those places. And when you hand that in, and I've told you what to do with the envelope, the person on the other side will now have to give you some sort of stamp to say that this letter that you have hand delivered has been taken in by the person on duty, as it were. Whether it's a constable, whether it's a deputy, does not matter. It is global. That is now your proof of delivery. Now, what does this exactly do? It tells them, the sheriff's office, and all sheriffs work for the courts, and they have to inform the courts that you know that how documents work, and that you know that you can control your language and your mannerisms to a point where you are openly making contract and joinder with the sheriff's office, which means at this moment, because you don't have a joinder, because the sheriff doesn't even recognize you on paper, you have given him your paperwork. And that brings him into your jurisdiction so he can protect you. Do you understand what I am saying to you? You are powering him or her to protect you. And I have given you detailed mechanisms of that, how to do it. Now, on the envelope itself, you do not need to hand deliver it. You don't even need to do it by registered post. If you want another option, I'll give you another option, which is take it to the post office, okay, and put a first-class stamp on it and ask them, the counter behind, to give you proof of post. And there they will certify for the price of something like under $1 or under £1 or under €1, that proof that you have sent a particular item, a letter, through the federal government, which is the post office, to the recipient. And as a result, you now have proof of service. I've also told you as optional, when you cross over that stamp with optional your date of birth, if you're concerned about data protection, don't do it. Just write in today's date or any other date where you became educated about this mechanism. It is optional for you to thumbprint it. It is optional. You don't need to. You can also put in your driving license number, which is optional. You can put your full address in, which is optional. You can put in your national insurance number, your national security number, or any one of those documents that the government has been issuing you, but you have failed to take up, to make joinder with them. So as a result, they're constantly dictating you, but you are unable to dictate them. This mechanism will safeguard you in all manner of ways. And I've told you how to do that. And that mechanism, ladies and gentlemen, is what so many of these banks and corporations and governments hide from you. There is, of course, a lot more to this in different situations and different venues. But that is the start to protect yourself from the corporations and the governments that will try to invade into your life. Like the pirates, the pirateers, which I've already spoken about in depth. They have no power over you. I'm giving you additional information. I am giving you that additional things that the world is crying out for. So on that sentence, ladies and gentlemen, I have done my duty with you. So, in terms of Biden, when you hear that these votes have been cast and they're turning up here and there, and that you have voted and you turn up, I beg your pardon, that you turn up to vote and they are telling you that you have already voted. Think about it. Next time you go into these polling booths, ladies and gentlemen, in any country in the world, understand that you have to have your trump card. Without your trump card, you will be forever lost in the world of illusions and delusions and lack of closure and lack of disclosure and all of these other fanciful words simply to rob you of one fact. You was lied to. Liars lie because they know the truth. That is why they lie, ladies and gentlemen. Understand the nature of your trump card. There is more knowledge in these two cards than you can possibly imagine. The other element that I have shared with you on my previous broadcast, which is only a few days ago, I proved to you, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that you have been lied to right down to the owning of your own home as well as the lands. If you are still confused about that, I invite you to just simply look up the document called calendar. What does a calendar mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means a book of debtors. The reason why they gave you a calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is because to write your name in as a book of debtors. This is how profound these mechanisms of lies are, ladies and gentlemen. It's so profound, you just simply cannot ignore it. These mechanisms are also the beginning of to make you the banker that the entire world needs to have. Every single one of you has to be a walking bank and a banker. This is the only way that you are going to get rid of the middleman. That is why this Sunday on the 20th, this month, which is December, I'll be teaching you folks out there to the world on the global scale what the mechanisms are to be able to do that, to become the banker using what is known commonly as this cryptocurrency. There is, of course, a lot more to this than meets the eye, which I've already spoken about, the links of which should be in the comments box or my little chat box or whatever you call it in webinar land or ether land. I am now going to share with you one of the greatest secrets that has been withheld from you. So listen very carefully. This is the greatest secret that I can give you as a Christmas present to every human being on this planet. You are familiar with that saying, that word that so often resonates within yourself in the movies and the books that you read. Especially one of my favorite songs, which is Read All About It. The greatest secret, ladies and gentlemen, of the power of the one. The power of the one, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. It only takes one person, one man, one woman to just simply turn around and say, "You are a liar, and I have the evidence for it." That's the power of the one. Every single one of you, ladies and gentlemen, has that ability, and it is that simple. If you ever wondered why the movies like Matrix gives you so much poetry and dramatization that you have to be extraordinarily powerful, extraordinarily gifted, you have to go through so much pain in order to forge yourself to become that holy of the holy, to become a prophet, to become a Jesus, to become a Moses. No, ladies and gentlemen, The power of the one is very simple. It only takes one person, just one person, to call it out. Say, you are a liar, liar, liar. And I have evidence for it. That's the power of the one. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is you. One of the things that David Wayne Miller taught me is, Mark, if you see a judge's lips moving, these are the ones that wear the black cloak and the hat that they wear, the cape, that funny thing that they wear, that essentially is to hide their thoughts from the Creator. And he made it very clear. If you see his lips moving, he's lying to you. So I'm saying to you, as a progression to this natural occurrence on our planet, where the power is shifting, the power of the one is you.